Today's story is Bernie. Now, we need a cover for Bernie. Let's see. Bernie is a diver at an amusement park. Here he is. Here's Bernie. He's got a dive. He gets helped by some birds. So let's add some birds. Now, we got to show the amusement park. So there's a roller coaster and a merry-go-round and everything at the beach. Way up high, he dives from a ladder that's extremely tall into the ocean. Okay, let's title this thing. Bernie. That's black. Let's add some color. Okay. Let's add my name. And now let's bring in the color for the cover of Bernie. And we'll start the story in our next video. For Jennifer. We start at the beach. Oh, I want to go there. Back when your parents were children, a beautiful amusement park was built next to the ocean. People came from all over the country to ride the rides, eat hot dogs, and sit on the beach. In the ocean stood a very tall ladder. Every afternoon, the greatest acrobat in the world, Bernie the Magnificent, would perform his famous high dive act. He dove so gracefully that it looked as if he could fly. Bernie turned his body in flips, loops, spins, and pikes, both forwards and backwards. His dives were perfect. When he landed, he never even made a splash. Well, he did make just a little splash. It was funny to watch the crabs on the beach judge him as if he was in the Olympics. Everybody loved to watch Bernie dive, and they always applauded him. But one day, a new amusement park was built nearby with more exciting thrill rides. It had a bigger roller coaster that was faster and scarier. There was a funhouse with mirrors that made you look silly. And between you and me, their hot dogs tasted better too. People stopped coming to the park by the beach and only went to the new park. Pretty soon the old rides rusted and stopped working because there was no money to fix them and keep them working properly. Sand covered most of the park too, because there was no workers to sweep it away. The old park fell apart. The only thing that didn't turn to ruins was the tall ladder in the ocean. The old park became Bernie's home. He had no other place to go. The new park wouldn't hire him because they weren't near the ocean and they didn't need a diver. Nobody came to watch Bernie dive anymore, so he just stopped diving. Even though it was something he loved to do. Soon after that, Bernie grew a beard and forgot that he used to be the star diver at the amusement park. He walked past an old poster of himself and looked strangely at it. He didn't feel like Bernie the Magnificent anymore. Storm was coming. The wind began to blow. A storm was coming. Bernie went over to sit on the dock and watch the waves crash on the shore. The winds were blowing so hard that the ladder was wobbling. It looked as if the ladder was going to break and there wasn't anything Bernie could do about it. As Bernie watched the ladder sway, he noticed a flock of birds flying fast right towards him. They were frantically fleeing from the storm. Suddenly, a bright bolt of lightning flashed through the sky. For just a brief moment, as if by magic, the lightning bolt illuminated the space between the birds to reveal the shape of a diver diving. Bernie's eyes widened with amazement. He watched the birds more closely now. Another bolt of lightning zipped through the sky and lit up the diver image again, but in a different position. The birds scrambled to get out of the way of the lightning and flew right past Bernie. Then the birds changed direction and flew towards the ladder. The birds flew in circles around the ladder all the way to the top, making sure to have Bernie's attention. Bernie watched them as they hovered for a while. Then something amazing happened. The birds dove straight down to the ocean, flapping their wings incredibly fast. Once again, a bolt of lightning lit up the diver image inside of the birds. As the birds were just about to hit the surface of the water, they swooped up in time so they wouldn't get wet. But the diver image that wasn't really there entered the water and made a huge splash. This made Bernie smile. He stood up and remembered how much fun it was for him to dive and wanted to jump into the water right then. But there was lightning, and you can't go in the ocean when there's lightning because that's not safe. So he watched the birds some more. They were squawking and playing with Bernie, circling all around him. The birds flew back to the ladder as if calling Bernie towards it. His storm had disappeared. He thought for a couple seconds, then rushed into the water and swam to the ladder. When he reached the ladder, he felt a little nervous. Bernie hadn't dove in a long time. Would he remember how? Bernie had the butterflies. He took a deep breath and got on the ladder. He began to climb. The birds climbed with him. It was a long and difficult climb. Bernie almost fell twice. Whoops! Once he reached the top of the ladder, Bernie wiped his brow and took a deep breath. He put his arms toward the sky, then out to the sides. Happiness filled inside of him. Then with a smile from ear to ear, Bernie dove off the platform. This was Bernie's finest dive. He did twists and spins and flips and loops and a silly looking pose that my brother used to make. The birds flew down with him. It was difficult to tell whether the birds were diving with Bernie or whether Bernie was flying with the birds. About halfway down, the birds just hovered in the air to watch Bernie finish his dive. The best part about it was that he entered the water perfectly without making a splash. And when Bernie came up for air, he put his arms up as if he had just won a gold medal and yelled at the top of his lungs the biggest "Oh yeah" you ever heard. What a feeling that was for Bernie. The crabs and starfish gave him a perfect score, too. With new energy and confidence bursting inside him, Bernie swam to shore, got out of the water, and cleaned himself up. He put on some nice clothes, brushed his teeth, and went to the barber shop, where there was great music playing. He held the door open for a lady getting into a cab, then got himself a shave and a haircut. Shave and a haircut, 2 bits. Feeling like a new man, Bernie went to see the owner of the other amusement park and convinced him to put in a pool with diving boards so there could be a new high dive act, one that was even more thrilling and exciting. He also secured a sweet salary contract deal with benefits. Bernie taught others how to dive with him. People once again came from all over the country just to be thrilled by the greatest diver in the whole world, Bernie the Magnificent. I hope you enjoyed our story today. If you like it, please hit the like button, subscribe, and give us your comments. We would love to hear what you think.